WOKB, Winter Garden, Orlando.
Good day, family. Welcome to The Story with your girl, Queenie's in the house. Gloomy day. It's a gloomy day. I thank God for the rain, but I'm tired, so I don't want no rain today because it makes you just want to lay in the bed and watch movies. Law and Order. Really, Law and Order all day. I got a whole bunch of those shows recorded, so I could just lay in the bed and watch Law and Order all day long. Anyway, I pray all is well and that everyone had a great weekend and that all the mothers had a great Mother's Day. I know I did. I mean, the whole weekend was just jam-packed, thing after thing after thing after thing. Ooh, I was tired. Exhausted when I got home last night around 11 something. I just crashed. I was exhausted. At any rate, today's a new day, and I pray that you started today with a meditation on God and that you open up and allow Him to guide you, staying focused only on Him and not allowing anything or anyone to distract you. It's very important. Stay focused on God. Please, please, please stay focused on God. But this weekend, one event I have to share with you all, which was our Celebrate Mothers event, the Mother's Day event that we did over at Chef Eddie's. It was awesome. I spoke on a mother's apron. We talked about attitude, patience, responsibility, opportunities, and needs. And I shared how we normally wear our apron to cook as we serve others, but now it's time to wear our apron in a different way. We're going to wear it to build our relationship with God and ourselves. Taking some time for Mother, really for Mother, and putting us on the top of the to-do list as we make our list of things we have to do during the day. We're going to, first fruits, Jesus, then us, then the rest of the world. But we want to, get our mind focused on God, take a moment, focus on ourselves so that we can have a productive day and serve others, because we've already served God and we served ourselves. That's what it was all about, the apron, just wearing it a different way. But it went really well, and the ladies want to do it again. So we're going to prepare to do that as well. So now I have two events I have to the kickball game and the women's meeting, I guess. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. I have to come up with something I got to get before the Lord and find out what He wants me to call it. But I want to give a special thank you to my husband and to the First Lady, Rosie Andrews of Heart of Mercy Community Church, because they just really went above and beyond yesterday to keep me encouraged, because I get really emotional around Mother's Day. Extremely emotional. Some years I'm pretty good, some years I'm good, and some years I'm just a wreck, and this was one of those wreck years. So I really just want to thank both of them from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate you all encouraging me on yesterday, and my mother-in-law as well, because she was encouraging me as well to just get out. I was out. I wanted to be out in bed though. Listen, please be sure to visit our new website, thestoryradioshow.com. You can get all the details of announcements, show topics, music we're playing here. Still some things trying to be worked out on the website, but go visit us, connect with us. We want to connect with you. That's thestoryradioshow.com. Today is our monthly roundtable, and today's topic is motherhood versus feminism. Oh, I'm loving this topic. It's all over, everywhere. I was reading the New York Times Room for Debate, and I came across this topic, and I was like, oh, we have to talk about it. We have to talk about it. So I have an in-studio guest and, some prospects to call, but we want you to call in too. 407-894-1680. Be a part of the conversation. Today we're going to feature music by Fondrea Lewis, Frida Battle. New music by Frida Battle, if you haven't heard it. I got some new music from her. And as I promised you all last week, I have a song off of my first album that I brought with me today to play with you. To play for you, because so you can get an idea how I'm going to sound after my next surgery. Praise God. Follow Queenie Sings everywhere, Facebook, Twitter. Follow me. I won't lead you down the wrong path, I promise. We want to thank our sponsors, Inspiration Music Group. They do graphic design, artist development, event planning, and production. Their website is www.inspirationmusicgroup.com. Heart of Mercy Community Church, a Grace Medical Partner, 1531 Mercy Drive, Orlando, Florida. The pastor there is William Andrews. Our continued supporters, All Dolled Up Salon Stores and Cosmetology School. Quality Entertainment and Get the 411. You're listening to The Story with Queenie on your urban empowerment and inspiration station right here on Gospel 1680. Let's get into our very first music break with none other than my sister from another mother out of Newark, New Jersey. Fondrea Lewis. I believe God. Listen, if you ain't ready to shout, you don't believe nothing. That is my sister from Newark, New Jersey. That's one of my sisters from Newark, New Jersey, where I'm from. Andrea Lewis. Featured on that is Pastor Kenneth Moles Jr. He was coming in as we were ending out. But listen, check her out. Fondrea Lewis. She is the bomb. Really, really good sister. Love her. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to The Story with Queenie, right here on Gospel 1680. And today is our monthly roundtable. Glenn, put your headphones on. Look, so you can join us in this conversation because we had some cancellations. So it'll just be the three of us, and you can give us a male perspective, if you don't mind.
Of course I don't. I got you.
You know, making sure. And we've got some books to give away today too.
Okay.
We're going to give away 2 books: 31 Days of Prayer and Fruit Happens. I'll share a little bit more on those books a little bit later. But today is our monthly roundtable, and I'm really, really excited about this topic. There is a lot of debate going on right now about it on the internet. And it's funny because it's an old topic that has re-come up because the person, the feminist philosopher, Elizabeth Bannister out of France, she's wrote a new book. And it's called The Conflict: How Modern Motherhood Undermines the Status of Women. And this book here defends the right of women to choose, and it takes issue with the idea that if you bottle feed your baby, you're a bad mother. If your kids go to daycare, if you have a job, you're a bad mother in doing that. So once again, she stirred up a whole bunch of banter. That's funny. Her last name is Bannister. Bedenter or however.
So she says if you don't breastfeed, you're a bad mom.
No, she says that if you do, you are a bad mother because you have a choice. She believes that feminism is being lost by
stay-at-home moms,
women
soccer
wanting
moms.
to be mothers, full-time mothers. Because they're choosing motherhood versus going outside of the home to work.
Yeah.
She feels like you're being a bad mother you're a bad mother by staying home.
Wow.
Not by going out. You're a bad mother when you stay home because you are putting your ambition on hold for motherhood. And I thought it was very interesting. So I have to play the devil's advocate here because you and I are both working women, business owners.
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna take the role of Mamoka moms, stay-at-home moms. So I'm gonna play that position today. And Glenn could give us a male perspective on it. But in the studio with me today is one of my really, really good friends. I just love this woman of God so much. You guys have no idea. And when I was putting together my panel for this, it was 2 women I had in mind immediately that I wanted to come and join me. And they are both women, business owners and women in the ministry. So you have a full life where you're working,
Absolutely.
But you're also a mother at home and in church.
Absolutely.
Which I thought was an interesting point of view that you all would have. But in studio with me today, you all, my family, is the owner of the Pink Diamond Boutique. She is also the first lady of Mount Olive.
Olive.
Oh.
Mount Olive.
Okay, look, I done wrote Oliva, A on the end. Yeah, that's me. You know, can't spell. Mount Olive AME Church in Clearwater, Florida. Family, put your hands together and welcome to the panel and to the story none other than the beautiful Mrs. Angie Williams.
God bless
Yay.
you, my sister. I am so delighted to be able to sit here with you this afternoon.
I'm glad that you can make it. When I told you the topic, you said, yeah, I'm going to have to pray on that one.
Yeah, that's a touchy subject in this day and age. It really is.
It really is very touching. And as I began to read more, because there were several other people, professional bloggers that chimed in, they had a lot of words for Miss Elizabeth out in France. But it was interesting. Nonetheless, it was still interesting because I didn't think that feminism was that strong of a topic anymore.
Yeah, I totally agree, because basically what I find strange about the whole concept is back in the European days, feminism was the top thing there. You wouldn't find too many of the women going outside of the home. So now they've taken a role reversal, and now they're ready to get outside of the homes and become mothers as well as entrepreneurs and women of the word.
Exactly. Well, this French philosopher, Elizabeth Badinter, I hope I'm saying her name correctly. She just believes that women should have choices, and basically that all women should follow the same model. That, we should have our kids, drop them off at a daycare with tons of bottles and go out and work. So, my question is, should we follow that same model? Or when do we be mothers?
Well,
we're so busy working.
She should become an entrepreneur and open a daycare. That way she can kill two birds with one stone.
How do you spell her last name?
Badinter, Badinter. Elizabeth is with an S, not a Z. Okay. Elisabet. Well, she believes in feminism. She believes that we should go out and work and kind of put motherhood to the back burner. Where I'm saying, no, we should be mothers first and then work.
Well, me being who I am, I think now that I'm no longer in corporate America, I've come to the realization that I can do both and do them exceptionally well.
All right.
I enjoy motherhood all the more now because I am in control of the hours that I put in the work world.
Right.
So therefore, I can devote more time to homework as opposed to when before I was in corporate America, I think my home went lacking.
Okay.
My home went lacking because even though I came home at 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, before I would take off my work clothes, I would go to the kitchen to then try and prepare the meals and get those things done. And it would be 7, 8 o'clock at night before I could even get out of my work clothes that I put on at 7 o'clock that morning.
Right.
Did my feminism go to the side? Absolutely. Because I became more of a control person trying to be that working mother and that working person that I think I lost some of my feminism.
Okay.
I breastfed my second child, but I did not do that with my first child because with my first child, my main focus was work, not motherhood, not feminism. It was providing. As I grew older, I then began to realize that, look, you can do both. It's all in how you plan your day and you set your day out and you know which direction to do. You know, as a mother, how much time you got to put into this and how much time you got to put into work. The sad thing about it is when you go to work, you cannot control those hours. Those hours belong to corporate America.
Exactly. So, yeah, she wants us to just work and follow this one model that mothers need to get outside the home. And I say, I don't need to go outside the home. I can do what I do from home. I can work anywhere that I want to work because I am a business owner. But, I'm sorry. Today, I am a stay-at-home mom. Today, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I think that we should be at home taking care of our children, giving them that nurturing and loving that they need so that they can grow up and be better people in society. And I think we do that through our breastfeeding, as they say online, the attachment parenting, being able to breastfeed and not have to pump. No offense to the person who invented the breast pump, but
I thought that hurts.
I don't know because I just breastfed directly.
I'm just kidding. But for real though, for guys, we see all women have taken on this whole different thing. It's like, man, you guys can do I can bring home the bacon fried up in the pan. I'm a woman.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we don't have any qualms with it.
Well, why
should other women have? You know what I'm saying?
According to Elizabeth, let me go down here on my
We don't have any qualms with it. I think you'll find very few men who would want their wives barefoot and pregnant nowadays.
Well, that's not what the men grew up with anyhow.
No.
We did not grow up with our mothers in the home.
Not in black homes.
Okay? We grew up with our mothers working.
That's right.
So, that's what we know.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you should say that because when we were growing up, if your mother stayed at home, she was considered a welfare mom.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good.
And not
Forgot about that.
a domestic mom because they were in an economic situation where the mom could stay at home.
And it was frowned upon.
It was frowned upon in the black community.
Yeah.
And when our mothers went out, they were going into the other home.
They were going
to take care of those children, those domestic, while that mother still sat at home, or she was at the tennis court somewhere.
Right, looking pretty, as they say.
Wow.
It's very interesting that we get to this point of it, because is there a difference between black and white that causes us to think it's a bad thing to be a stay-at-home mom if you're black? Because if you're a stay-at-home mom and you're black, then you must be on welfare.
Wow.
Is that something that we've brought on to ourselves?
Wow.
Or is it something that has been placed upon us from the media?
I think it's a stigma that has been placed upon us from the media. Absolutely.
Okay.
You've got callers already.
Oh, okay. Yes, you're welcome to call in and join the conversation, 407-894-1680. Hello, caller, are you there?
Yes, I am.
And who am I talking to?
Minister Bridget Norvell.
Hey, Minister Bridget, how are you?
I'm great.
Great. Thanks for calling in.
You're welcome. What a drawing conversation.
I know.
The first thing when I heard about her opinion, because that's what we have, just like armpits.
Yeah.
Is her opinion of what it is that's a bad mother and a good mother.
Yeah.
You touched on a subject that you were segueing into about the welfare moms and the Caucasian and from the African American.
Right.
When you look at it, it's our mindset. And if we thought we were a welfare mom, that's what we're going to be, a welfare mom. But when you look at it, when you look at society today, a lot of the women back in the days did stay home. A lot of women back in the days, in the beginning, they stayed home. But as time went on, women's lib and, equal rights and all that. Look at I would say the generation that came up out of it, and look how it's in chaos right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what it is that what's happening is we're going back to the biblical days, to the times that we are training up our children. And if we have to breastfeed, as a parenting consultant, breastfeeding is the unity between you and the child. The child staying home instead of going to daycare is building up that child's self-esteem and getting to know that mother, giving them that motherly love. And this is why there's people fighting rejection. This is why people fighting suicide. These are why the children are on drugs. So, I want to know, does she have any kids?
Well, I'm not sure. So you think it's a good thing for mothers to stay at home and get that bond with the child? You think that's a better model than working?
Well, my opinion, like my armpits.
I like that.
I do too.
Hey, I feel I have my daughter with me now, and I have that bond with her, but I did have to go out and work. I did have to put her in daycare. She started preschool early.
Okay.
So I saw where we had that little disconnect, and we're now trying to connect. And her life isn't the way that I want it to be, but we're mending it now, and it's getting there.
Okay.
But let's say I did do it the right way the first time, would I have to do all this now?
Okay. All right, that's a good point.
Yeah, that is.
What God wanted you to do?
Well, we can't hear her in the back.
How old is your daughter?
She's 27.
Okay. Yeah, she's trying to say something in the background, but I can't hear her.
She had her little piece. She said, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
What's your opinion, baby? Tell the listeners what was your opinion. She don't want to talk because she
don't want to get on the radio. But I think that is interesting that you would say, if you had it to do all over again, you would want to spend those years at home, with the child, and you think that time in nurturing them make them better adults.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's interesting.
Yes.
Now, let me tell you, I spent 1 year at home with my oldest son, and I thought so too, that if economically I was in a position that I could do that, and I stayed home that 1 year, and let me stress, it was 1 year, because after that 1 year I couldn't carry on an adult conversation to save my life, Everything was baby talk, baby talk. Come on, the baba. I lost everything that I had in corporate America. I lost it all just in that 1 year of being home with my child. So, and I breastfed and I did all those nurturing things because in my mind, motherhood was the number one thing for me to do, to be a mother, to be there with the child. Because my mom, like I said, was in an economic position. She could be home with us. So it was like, oh my God, this is what I'm supposed to do. And I didn't look at it as, oh my God, it's a feminist movement. I have a choice. I need to, I can work. I can choose to work and not be at home. I didn't look at it like that. I said, I need to go out and get a job because I need adult interaction. Not so much, you know what I mean, that it's my choice or I don't want to be held hostage to the home. Because one of the things I was saying, Glenn, too, she said that, I'm trying to find it here in my notes. She said her argument that babies are the best ally for masculine domination. So I'm like, are men really controlling women through having children?
Yeah. It says that you guys could lose your sexuality. Lose your professionalism, just like you said.
Like I said, you lost it all.
And you could lose it in excessive child-centeredness.
Yes, because you're so busy. Come get your baba.
Excessive child-centeredness.
You can't help it. Everything is all about the child. Now, you've been in corporate America when your babies were small too, so you know what I'm talking about. I found that everything was about the baby. And him talking about you lose your sexuality, yes, because what are we doing? We putting a baby in the bed with us.
Absolutely.
Because we're just so consumed with full-time motherhood.
And it does have a great impact on the marriage as a whole.
Absolutely.
And I learned that the hard way.
Absolutely.
And when that sister was big enough to get her tail in her bed, life changed. Amen. But Queenie, I will say this, going back to when we were children. Right. With my mother being a single parent, it was hard for her to be able to be home. Having an only child and having to work, it was hard. Right. So for me, I had to learn. But what she would do is when the summertime came, she took that time to be a mother, and we would have a weekend, a summer getaway. Right, so when I was in corporate America, what I would do is when I needed that time to really nurture and spend time with my kids, we would have Friday night. Friday night was movie time at my house. We would all get together and get some popcorn and some pillows and get on the floor, and we'd all just pile up in one room till we fell asleep. So that's what we have to do, too, because sometimes you can't do them both. I see you have another caller waiting.
Yes, I do. Shelley, are you there?
I am here.
Thank you for. I'm good, darling. How are you?
Oh, my Midwest voice. I'm great.
That's all right. That's all right. We all a little rough this morning in this rain.
First of all, I have to say you have one of my favorite guests on. Is this your first time, Lady Williams, being on the radio, girl? You're a star.
Awesome. God bless you.
You know what I want to say is three things, actually.
Okay.
One is to the woman who feels that she's missed out because she's chosen to live at home. Sometimes it catches up with them later on in life.
Okay.
They feel like they just spent so much time with their child.
Right.
That, and that they missed out on something. I was laughing when you said you were just talking baby talk, because I was actually in my first marriage a battered wife and divorced.
Mm-hmm.
And my consolation was getting home to my son.
Mm-hmm.
I drove 127 miles a day.
Wow.
I paid a lot of money, but he spent from like 6 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock at night with the sitter.
Right.
And then if I had to go back to work, I would go see him and then go back and drive all those hours. But I knew he was in good care.
Right.
I used to ask everybody and it was a Fortune 100 company, they would go, I want wife. Like, okay, she needs her child.
Right.
They would just look at me and I just say, I want wife. And they're like, she needs to go home.
Right, right.
So that became like a catchphrase when I was overworked. I want wife. Everybody's like, she's talking about her child.
Right.
She's her child. So I respect the fact that we can talk that way and still keep who we are in perspective. Because when we need to bring it, we still bring our A game.
That's right. That's right.
And so the lady that's on your show today, Lady Williams, she and I sat one day around a little water fountain, and we talked about what we were going to do because we wanted to be the strength for our families.
Right.
And we wanted to have that flexibility that when we got ready to do for our families, nobody could dictate
exactly
how we were going to be there for our families.
Right, right.
And so she's doing it. She is living what she said she was going to do. And I just want to say, ladies, I respect story today.
Thank
I
you.
can relate to the storyline.
Amen.
God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning in.
Oh, yes. Take great care. Shalom.
You too. That's awesome. But, you know, she had a really, really good point about, Bridget, are you back?
Yes, I am.
She had a really, really good point. Either way, you're going to feel like you missed out on something. Whether you're working, you're going to feel like you're missing out on something. If you're home, you're going to feel like you're missing out on that adult stuff. Turn your radio down, Bridget. You're a little loud.
Okay, I got it.
I know you in the car and stuff. But either way, you will feel like you missed out on something. But
And, you know, I wanted to touch on what y'all are saying. I think it all has to do with balance.
Absolutely.
Balance has to come in. Even if you stay home with that child all day, have a mommy group, have a couple group that does the same thing or outside of it, and, you know, you won't be used to talking baby talk all the time because you're balanced. You're balanced.
Yeah.
It's just like any time management we have to do when it comes down to our business, to our jobs. We have to do time management for everything, every aspect of life.
Right.
When we look at write the vision, make it plain, how many of us are just writing the visions of what we want to see in our business life, in our professional life? But you're writing the vision for every aspect of life.
Right, right.
And that has to do with spiritually, mentally, physically, children, marriage, everything.
Exactly.
It has to be balanced. And God will give us the wisdom on how to balance that out. There is no perfect way, but through God, He will show you the way.
The way. Amen. And with that, we're going to have to go to our break. Oh, my God, it's getting so good. You're listening to The Story with Queenie on your Urban Empowerment and Inspiration Station right here on Gospel 1680. We're doing our Mother's Roundtable. And in studio with me is the lady, lovely, lovely lady, Angie Williams, as well as the minister, Bridget Norvell, is calling in to join in with us today. We're going to go to our next music break. As promised, here is a song off my first album, Listen Up.
Yay!
Open arms outstretched up to you, Lord. I give my all and all power belongs to you. All power belongs to you. With open arms
So there you have it. Those of you who wanted to hear what I used to sound like before surgery, before I started losing my voice chronically, that is what I sounded like. That is an award-winning song. I won a Billboard writing contest off of this song here. Shout out to Billboard. I think it was 14th annual, 15th, one of them, 13, 14, 15, something. I was one of the top mentions, top 400 songwriters during that event off of this song. But let's go to our calls for our community announcements really quick. Did you know that diabetes is the 7th leading cause of death, affecting more than 25 million people? Could you or your family member be at risk for diabetes? Call today to reserve your spot for a free health screening to determine if you or someone you know might be at risk for diabetes. With proper education and simple lifestyle changes, diabetes can be prevented and managed. Grace Medical Home is offering a free diabetes session at Heart of Mercy Community Church on this coming Sunday, May 20th from 2 to 4 p.m., right at Heart of Mercy Community Church, located at 1531 1531 Mercy Drive, Orlando, Florida. Dinner and child care will be provided at no additional charge. They're going to have flyers. Okay, that's it. I can't talk. They're going to have food, games, health advice, and much, much more. To RSVP, call 407-936-2785, extension 42. Or just show up Sunday.
All right.
Heart of Mercy Community Church, 2 to 4 p.m.
They can show up early and catch the service.
Yes,
as well.
they can. Matter of fact, show up at 11 a.m. I'm going to be preaching. If you never heard me preach and you want to hear me preach, come on over. Heart of Mercy Community Church, 11 a.m. Thank you.
You didn't want to put that part in there,
Thank you
did
for
you?
that. No, but see, God has a way of making things, come out anyway, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
But I want to give a big congratulations to Heart of Mercy Community Church, First Presbyterian Church of Orlando, and the Heart of the City Foundation. On Friday, the first of 2 portables was installed at the Heart of Mercy Community Church, and it is just the great works that these 3 organizations are doing as they work together to build a better educational future for our children. So congratulations to Heart of Mercy Community Church, Mercy Drive Ministries. They got their first of 2 portables in.
That's a blessing.
That is going to open up their service in that community. Right now, Heart of Mercy Community Church services about 70 kids on a daily basis. So now they can increase that program and that service to the kids in that community. So I am so stoked about it in church. I can shout about it. I can shout about it. I'm serious. I was hype about it. I really, really was. There's no Mercy Drive Mass Choir rehearsal tonight, so we are still looking for members. You can give us a call, 407-900-3144, and we'll tell you when that next rehearsal is, but there's no rehearsal this week. If you're interested in getting fit and healthy from head to toe, mind, body, and spirit, call us, 407-900-3144. We meet on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. at Heart of Mercy Community Church and Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. at Burnett Park for walk and worship. Also, I have to give a congratulations out to Aretha Franklin. If you haven't heard, here it is. She's being inducted to GMA Gospel Hall of Fame. That is awesome.
That is a blessing.
Awesome. Aretha Franklin is known for her soul recordings and referred to as the Queen of Soul. Miss Aretha Franklin is also adept in jazz, blues, R&B, rock, and of course, gospel music. Rolling Stone magazine ranked her atop its list of the greatest singers of all time. That is big.
That is big.
Really, really big. Listen, she has won 18 competitive Grammys, 2 honorary Grammys. She has 20 number 1 singles on the Billboard R&B singles chart, 2 number 1 hits on the Billboard Hot 100. She has recorded a total of 45 top 40 hits on Billboard Hot 100. She is also the most million-selling singles of any female artist. She's had 10 number 1 R&B albums and more, and that's more than any other female artist. And in 1987, it says she became the first female artist to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She was the only featured singer at the 2009 presidential inauguration.
Did you say the only?
The only.
Awesome.
I remember
the
that
only
too.
featured singer at the 2009 presidential inauguration. That is Ms. Aretha Franklin, because she didn't get married yet, but Miss Aretha Franklin. She's working on it, though. She's working on getting down that aisle. Listen, Wednesday, May 16th at 7 p.m., Gospel Music Workshop of America President Bishop Albert Jameson will be speaking over at New Covenant Perfecting Church, 1190 Apopka Boulevard in Apopka, Florida. The pastor over there is Bishop Julia Wade. The GMWA Orlando chapter will be singing there. So if you haven't heard Gospel Music Workshop of America Orlando chapter sing, here's a prime opportunity for you to come out and get connected. Everyone will be there that you need to talk to if you're interested in joining. I tell any independent gospel artist this is a great way to get connected with the who's who of the music industry. So be there. That's going to be at 7 p.m. May 16th, this Wednesday, over at New Covenant Perfecting Church, 1190 Apopka Boulevard in Apopka, Florida. What time is that? Oh, 1:45. Okay. Let's go into just a little bit of Frida Battle. I got to go into a little bit of Frida Battle because I want you all to hear it. This is her new song, How Glorious and Excellent Is Our God.
If you're in the midst of a season, come on through, because I guarantee you'll come through saying, hallelujah, how glorious and how excellent is our God. How glorious and excellent is our God. How glorious and excellent is our God. The power is greater than our God, our Creator. How glorious and excellent is our God. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Oh. Come on, choir. How glorious? How glorious. Come on, you know it. And excellent is our God. Yeah. How glorious. How glorious. And excellent. And excellent is our God. Hallelujah.
If you're listening in right now, that's Miss Frida Battle and her latest single. I love Frida Battle. I love her energy, her spirit. I love her. But if you call in right now, 407-894-1680, you're going to win 2 books, 31 Days of Prayer and Fruit Happens. So call in now, 407-894-1680 to win those 2 books. While that's playing in the background, I just want to go right back into the topic. And Bridget, are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Before we went to break there, you were talking about having balance, writing the vision and making it plain, and how applicable it is across the board. So my question is, does taking the time to raise your family diminish your ambition and freedom? Does it?
No.
Okay.
And that's why I was amazed for her to say that. And my question was, do she have any children? Because if you notice, it's the ones without the children always have that opinion of how to raise your children. So that's my question. You know, she might have, and don't get me wrong, we can be a mother through surrogate, we could be a mother through adoption, but the thing is, when you're going to give me an opinion, tell me what's your track record. At least people, when they go out there and do a study, they do a scientific study, or they do a sociology study or a psychological study, and they come up with these things.
Right.
How did you come up with them?
I don't know how she came up with her, information for her book. She could have just woke up that morning and said, this is how I feel. I don't really know what it is that's driving it, but I think it's, really, really funny, because I think either way, women, we have ambition.
Yes.
Whether our ambition is to raise our family and devote our life to just that one mission, whether our ambition is to be the breadwinner and let dad stay home and raise the children. That could be our ambition. Our ambition could be, we can do it all. And, you know, I thank God for Jesus for blessing us with choice.
Amen.
You know, I just thank him for it. Listen, an online blogger, LaShawn Williams, she's an online blogger at the L Factor out of Atlanta. And she wrote, the female experience has differed for white women in this country as they have historically been expected to simply look pretty, stay at home, and have babies. We were talking about this, Angie. While they felt trapped in a sea of domestication, black mothers longed to devote more time to their children because they were in those homes taking care of their children and neglecting their own children. And they're the moms was right in the home and still did not embrace motherhood.
The help is the primary example of that.
There it is. So, you know, what for me is, even if you're home, are you taking care of the children?
Well, you know what? I like what you just said. I counseled a couple, and I was asking the gentleman. He said, well, my father was always there. I said, really? I said, was he there physically or was he there mentally?
Yes.
And then he was like, oh, you know, I never thought about that.
Yes.
So we can be there. I mean, we were there. I was there for, a couple of years with my daughter. I was there, but I wasn't there mentally.
Right.
And so a man thinketh, so is he.
Yes.
So whatever we think within our mind, and we're training up that mindset. Remember, that's a little child that we are training up, and we're not going to talk about the youth stage, the adolescent stage, and then the adult stage. You know, whatever we're training from birth to 4 years old, that's what we're about to get. And we're supposed to be training them to know their egos differently, but we're not there mentally, you know, as to say, you know, bonding with that child in a spiritual aspect and a mental aspect. You know, we talk about the soul, the mind, the will, the emotion. Are we training them in that area, or we're just there physically? You know, now, I'm home.
One thing that I love that you said is that they get most of their training between ages 1 and 4. So after that, really, our full-time, so to speak, duties are basically done anyway.
Yes, they are.
Because whatever it is that they're going to be, they already have it by the time they're 4 years old. But First Lady, what's interesting about having you on this panel is you are dealing with congregation who sometimes have no balance, sometimes they have balance, sometimes they have no training, sometimes they have some training, sometimes they have more training. So you deal with a plethora of people, even some who may feel they've missed out. How do you handle those people and encouraging them to make the choice that's best for their situation? You know, they can't follow in your footsteps all the time. How do you encourage them and keep them moving?
You've got my belly and butterflies.
I'm sorry.
It's really interesting you would ask that question, because on yesterday it was Mother's Day, and the ladies gave me a plaque, and the young adults viewed me as a mother, and so I'm thinking to myself, you know, I'm not a mother. I'm one of you, but really I'm not one of them. And I took it with such joy and pleasure after I really sat back and I thought about that, because there has to be something in me that was birthed inside of me for them to be able to see. And it has to be somewhat of a mothering nature. Regardless of the feminist part of it. There has to be something as far as a mothering, nurturing is concerned. So the way I view that and the way I deal with that is I try to line everything up with the word.
Yes.
First and foremost, I just try to line everything up with the word. And I try to deal with the individual in where they are, because there are a plethora of women in the church. I think our church the churches nowadays in general may be about 80% women. So there are a lot of women in the church, and I was a speaker at our church a few weeks ago, and the men, they banned me. They said I was banned from the pulpit for a year. But I believe in touching the women where they are. And I talked about, you know, Esther's role and Queen Vashti's role. And when Queen Vashti was sent away, and she was sent away because she refused to be displayed as a feminist. To her husband before all of the people, as to where Esther was more of I guess you could say an in-home mother nurturing type. She was willing to do what had to be done inside the home through God's way. So I just basically, Queenie, at the end of the day, I try to give the sisters the word. Don't look at me and how I view my family, because I tell them all the time, today ain't Sunday, you know, because it's hard, you know.
That's right.
And being a wife, being a mother, running a business. Our church is in Clearwater. You know, we live here in Orlando. My kids are in school out by the airport. And my job's over here in Edgewater.
Right.
So I do a whole lot of running around to try and make it all work as a woman.
Exactly.
Okay? So as a woman, it takes a lot for me. So they see all of that in me, and they want to know, how do you do it? And the only thing that I can tell them at the end of the day, it's nothing but the grace of God that I can do all that I do. So don't look at what you see, but look at who I am. So I just tell them, look, let's just move along as women. If we got some issues, let's come together and work it out. You know, there's a sister in my church that had an issue. So I asked that all the women stay after church for 2 minutes. Let's just hold hands and let's just have a word of God. She didn't have a name. God knew her name, but we called her Sister A. And at the end of the day, we women, we gathered together and we held hands and we said a word of prayer for Sister A. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's what being a woman is all about. That's what feminism is all about. Whether you're inside of the home, inside of the church, in corporate America, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
That's right. And I love that you say that, because my last question is, should we as mothers look down on one another?
Absolutely not.
We should be encouraging one another. I think it's really, really important. You know, it's all about choices, lady. Call in right now. This is your last opportunity to win the gift of the day, 407-894-1680. If you have questions or comments, you got 2 minutes to get it in. Encourage one another. You know, the question that LaShawn asks is, has feminism failed women? I said, no. It has.
Well, you know, it's easy for them to ask that question when you look at some of the younger ladies.
Okay.
Because what I think is, in the Baptist church, or someone said to me, when a gentleman said this to me, when you lose the motherboard in the church, you've lost the church. And so basically, if you lose that motherboard, you know, even though I'm in my 40-ish, I still look to the older mothers to come and feed me. Even in my 40-ish, I still have to go to the younger adults and feed them. So if you lose the motherboard, regardless of whether you're corporate America or a feminist, you've lost the church.
Yes. That is so true. That is so true.
Can I touch on that?
Yes.
This weekend, I went to Atlanta, and to spend time with it's a church, an African church, 110 churches. Their belief is they're non-denomination, but the pastor, Archbishop Ezekiel, he started the church like years ago, 1925. He grew this church from one church to 110 churches in Africa. And they're all over. They're in New Zealand. They're in every country there is. And then they're now coming to America. Some of them are here in America now, starting their chapter. What I saw, I didn't see a motherboard, but guess what I saw? I saw a wise leader that had the head together, and everything fell under it.
Right.
And I say that to say that the pastor was telling me when the wife married him, she was given over to him from the church, and she had to prove she could stand her ground as a woman, as a wise woman. And when I saw all the leaders this weekend that came out of that church, there was such love, unity, order. I'm like, oh my goodness. And
the motherboard.
Other couples, you know, other countries, all the pastors were that way, and everyone up under it. And what they believed in was bringing out disciples and training them. But guess what? The head was in order.
That's right.
All the men were in order.
That's right.
All the men were doing what they're supposed to do. I had to get used to men opening the door for me, carrying my stuff, and I'm like, wow, you know, and like, no, you're a woman. This is what we do.
Right.
And I'm like, where is America? I think
I gotta cut you. Look, I'm going to have to cut you off, because that's going to be a whole nother show topic. Like, where have our men gone? That's a whole nother topic. Glenn and Nia talking about watch it.
And just to wrap it up, I just want to say,
you can't, Bridget, you can't. I got to wrap it up because we got less than a minute. Listen, we want to thank all of our sponsors for today's show. Inspiration Music Group, Heart of Mercy Community Church, All Dialed Up Salon and Stores, Quality Entertainment, and Get the 411. If you're interested in being a part of the story, you want to be on it, you got a story idea, whatever, we're always open to receive it. Visit us on the web, thestoryradioshow.com. If you want to be a sponsor, we'd love to have you as well. Call us, 407-900-3144. My daily bread is simple. By choice or by force, do it your way. Thank Jesus for the choice. That's my daily bread for today. But I have one final announcement. You're cordially invited, along with your family and friends, to our annual Women's Day service, Women Clothed in Purple, Housewives of the Bible, on Sunday, June 3rd, 2012 at 5 p.m. at Heart of Mercy Community Church, 1531 Mercy Drive, Orlando, Florida. This is on behalf of First Lady Rosie Andrews and the Senior Pastor William Andrews. I'm going to share that with you, Miss Angie. Go visit the Pink Diamond Boutique. What's the address?
4807 Edgewater Drive on the corner of Edgewater and Lee Road.
Listen, she got the bomb accessories and clothes. I love you all for listening to The Story with Queenie right here on your Urban Empowerment and Inspiration Station, Gospel 1680. Remember, it's never too late to edit the tape. Tell your story today. God bless you.
God bless you.
WOKB, Winter Garden, Orlando.